Welcome to my impact review, ladies and gentlemen. Let me put it like this before the even begin the review. I've actually been more interested in TNA than WWE. I'm not going to lie about it. I'm not totally fond of how TNA is going. There are some things they're not doing great. But you know what? I got a better product than WWE right now. I'm being honest here. I have a much more interesting product in a TNA who doesn't even have the same amount of time and budget than the WWE that has a huge budget with a lot of people. So I am more interested right now. I am not interested in Night of Champions. I'm being honest here. I have no interest. None. Hopefully that will change in the next 2 weeks. But right now I'm actually interested in TNA. So let's get into the beginning. I wasn't sure how to feel about Chris Melendez doing this. Zach Gowen, he wasn't too bad of a wrestler. But in this respect, I wasn't sure. The guy's only been functioning normally maybe for the last year or so, maybe 2 years, since he lost his leg and messed up his hand. So I'm not saying physically he's not back to function, just missing a leg. But I wasn't sure how he's going to be able to perform in the ring. And after seeing what I saw with Zema Ion, I'm not exactly sure how to feel right now. He decided, instead of like Zach Gowen, to take his prosthetic leg off. Chris Melendez decided to stay with the prosthetic in the ring, which really made him look incredibly awkward. That prosthetic leg is not designed to bend when you need it to bend. It's going to stay locked or it's going to stay bent. Now someone's going to have to tell him in the back that you may have to lose the leg. Or you're going to have to find some way to make that leg bend when you're not needing it to bend. Sorry for the noise of the little kid. There's always noise in here. But honestly, it wasn't a bad match. But it looked so awkward the way he was standing most of the time. I don't know how to feel about this. I'm glad he won. He needed to win because they want to put him over. And the promo afterward was actually nice. It was actually pretty good. But they need to work out what he needs to do in the ring. To win by a Samoan drop might not be a bad thing for him because it doesn't take a lot to do that position. Even though it takes a lot of strength to do that, particularly with a prosthetic on your leg that's putting a huge amount of strain on you. You're in a tube and one part of your leg that doesn't exist anymore. So that is a lot to do. But to be honest, I don't know how to feel about this. I'm not against him. But they need to come up with a better way for him to work in the ring. Let's move on to the match of MVP King and Lashley versus Rude, Joe, and Eli. Now, before this happened, they had the ring segment, which was actually good. I enjoy how Rude is talking. He's talking very well. And very little talking is from Lashley, which is needed. I don't know what to think of King anymore. King needs to stop acting like a little kid. Like, what the fuck? You're supposed to be the king, not a prince who's a spoiled little fucking brat who can't do shit. Come on, please, someone tell Kenny King to stop. Because I'm really getting frustrated with him. I want to see him succeed. He has potential. He has the ability to talk. He can go in the ring. But this little skipping around and acting like a little kid saying, oh, you want to cry now? What the fuck? Anyway, the match was pretty good, and MVP is the one who did the job for Rude. I don't know where they're going with this after what's going to happen with Rude and Lashley. But in the end, it's okay with me. And seeing Lashley win his match last Friday, I didn't actually see it. I forgot. Was good to see that he can still kick ass in MMA. But he's a pro wrestler. Should be focusing on that. And that's... Oh, sorry, my shoulder's hurting. That's what I want to see. Now, the Bromance and Velvet versus Menagerie. I said this a while ago. No one said she's only going to be for Candy. I said it and I was right. I said Rebel would eventually become a wrestler, and she has. Look what happened. Velvet Sky versus Rebel. Now, the problem I have with this entire match Wasn't about Steve kissing Velvet. It wasn't about Bromance doing what they do. And it wasn't about Mike Knox. No. It was about Velvet dealing with basically Rebel. And I felt that Rebel could have won this. I really believe that even though she's green as hell, you could see how awkward she is in the ring, even though she looks damn good looking. And those poom poom shorts, ooh! Oh, I think I almost want to marry her. She's almost at the same level as Angelina Love with me. I mean, I like Love almost over anybody. Except for a... Mickey Jane is pregnant and about to give birth by Magnus's baby. What the fuck, man? That just shattered my heart, man. I love me some Mickey Jane. She's the most gorgeous woman in that product. And she ain't there, and now she's about to give birth. Oh, man. Well, maybe her boobs will get bigger. Anyway, when you look at Rebel, you really believe that she's too green. But they are putting her out there because they don't have much of an option. And then when it came to the new cover girl for the TNA 2015 calendar, and Velvet Sky is one that's picked. But my Angelina Love is saying, look at me, boys and girls. I am the best looking piece of ass here. You know it's me. And she gets upset because JB takes the mic from her. I'd be doing anything just to touch her. But this wasn't about Velvet. This wasn't about Angelina. This was about Havoc. All of this was about Havoc. Terrifying Rebel. Making Angelina and Velvet look terrified. Making a Gail Kim be on the defensive. And making a... the look of Madison Rayne and Terrence Terrell is very good. They did at least a good job to say, oh my God, that's the big ass bitch. She's almost as big as Awesome Kong. Which she's not. But I can say Havoc did a wonderful job in that segment. The last segment with Havoc having a fight with Kim. Kim being dragged to the back by 3 guys. And 2 medium-sized guys like myself got destroyed by Havoc. She's going, ah! She's not The Undertaker, but I will accept that. That's an Undertaker move. But they really need to give her new music because it sucks. Let's move on to EC3 and Rhino in their street fight. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say the match was okay and EC3 won, which he deserves to. He's the American hardcore icon. He must win. Wearing those pink pants, he had to win. He ain't no bitch. But this is about Angle. I got to say this about Angle being the executive general manager. I really wish he never leaves his position. He's doing such a good job. He's not seen much on TV. When he is seen, he's to the point, direct, and tells your ass what needs to be done. I wish the blue fuck they do not change their mind. And Angle himself says, you know what? I need to get people over. If I gotta wrestle EC3 eventually, which is needed for the ending of the storyline, fine. But then I need to go back to being a general manager. This needs to be done. If they make him become a wrestler again and make it permanent, it is the worst thing you could do. He's doing such a good job. But anyway, like I said, EC3, the hardcore American icon, needed to win, and he did. But I don't know where they're going to go with him now. I just don't. And where the hell is Spud? I miss Spud. But I didn't miss what happened with Storm. The fiery storm of evolution. I may call it that. The firestorm of the future. The firestorm of evolution. Tell me what you think should be called. And his group. Because James Storm is doing a great job. Now Manic is about to get his mask ripped off. It may be somebody different. It may be TJ Perkins, I believe his name is. I've forgotten him. I think it is TJ Perkins still. But the point is, they're doing something with Manic. They're doing something in the X Division. I'm hoping that this will be brought to the X Division and these guys will tear the shit out of it. Now, when it came to the tag match with him and Sonata versus Tajiri and Austin Aries, I enjoyed it. It didn't seem too slow. I do wish it was maybe a couple of minutes longer, maybe 2 minutes longer. But in the end, Storm spits some beer in Tajiri's face, and Sanada wins, spitting that green mist. Man, the thing that gets me with Sanada, he has to chew to build the spit up. Come on, Sanada. You don't see Tajiri do that. He does that without anybody watching. So that means Sanada doesn't normally do that. And if he does, he needs some work at it. But hopefully this will be done well. Excuse me. Allergies. Lastly, round 2 of the series to see who will become the TNA heavyweight tag team champions. The match was pretty good. The Hardys took some pretty big hits, and I think the ones who took the worst hits was the Wolves. I think it was Eddie Edwards who took a really big hit. Yeah, I think it was him that took a bad hit. But in the end, the Hardys win, and now they're going to do a ladder match. Am I interested in watching it? Yes. Now that I still don't know if Bully Ray is still re-signed. You guys can tell me below. But in the end, if he has been re-signed, we need to have this built up to Bound for Glory. It actually would make sense for them to, if this is what for 3D to win at Bound for Glory, they need this. In the early part of the night, if they have their final match, I don't think they will, you will see 3D win and then be inducted. Or it'll be just before it. I'm kind of hoping it'll happen by then because it'll be more dramatic and it'll be more iconic. But in the end, how did the show go? Actually, it was pretty good. I wasn't bored throughout the night. Seeing the menagerie, I'm alright with it. Particularly that Rebel now has become a wrestler to a certain extent, like I said she would. And she needs some work, but definitely something needs to be done. She needs to be built up. And when it comes to Melendez, the Sarge, I'm just going to call him the Sarge. Not Sergeant Slaughter. There's only one Sergeant Slaughter. But the Sarge, I don't know how to feel about him yet. Particularly that he looks so awkward using his prosthetic. He may have to go by the Gowan playbook and remove that prosthetic and not work with it. That is actually quite dangerous for another wrestler to deal with. Because a wrestler could actually break their arm on his leg if he jumps around and does maybe a certain type of maneuver, like maybe a shoulder. He may do a flying elbow or maybe a squat or something. That guy could actually hurt himself with that leg. So he may have to consider letting it go. So I hope you enjoyed the Zane view. Please give me a comment below. I'm about to get my debate of the week out, and it's going to be a versus again. You will find out. I hope you like it. And just tell me if I'm doing well. Peace out.